Good afternoon. My name is Adriana Bermudez, and this is my Cognition, Learning, and Motivation presentation 2021. So for my presentation, I chose motivation, and we'll start with the definition. Psychologists define motivation as a process by which activities are started, directed, and sustained so that certain needs are met. Needs can be psychological, for example, needing validation, or physical, for example, needing food. The idea is that motivation is what guides us to accomplish a goal. For some real life motivation, motivation to me is very straightforward. I love everyone who is a part of my life, but no bond is greater than the bond between a mother and her children. This is where my motivation comes from. In almost all situations, I always think back to my children to motivate myself and to remind myself of why I'm doing whatever task I'm trying to tackle. Um, they are what really fuels my motivation at work, in my personal life, going back to school. Everything I do is motivated by them. Personal learning style and preferences. As mentioned before, motivation is what drives us to complete tasks. Everyone learns differently and at different pace. For me, personally, I'm more of a visual learner. I learn best when I see it visually than I can do it hands-on. By seeing it visually, my motivation increases because I now have more confidence to complete the task at hand. A study showed that high motivation can compensate for considerable limitations in both one's learning and conditions and language aptitude. So going back to that first part of the sentence, um, I'm more of a visual learner. If if you show me how to do it and then I'm able to do it hands on, I have more confidence to be able to complete the test at hand. However, for somebody who maybe is not a visual learner, they're gonna feel a little bit overwhelmed by the concept of it. So their motivation tends to go down a little bit. Motivation can also determine and impact how likely one is to keep striving for the best or giving up. Motivation also leads to increased effort and energy. It determines whether a student will pursue a task, even a difficult one, with enthusiasm or a lackluster attitude. It, if you're giving a really hard assignment, if you're not really motivated to get it done, you're just going to really give up on it. However, if you're giving a hard assignment and you know it's going to be difficult, but you're motivated to study, to learn about it, you're more likely to complete that task. Contributors to motivation. So motivation is one of the most frequently studied and written about topics. Psychologists writing in the late 19th century and 20th century suggested that human beings were programmed to behave in certain ways depending upon the behavioral cues to which they were exposed. Sigmund Freud argued that the most powerful determinants of individual behavior were those of which the individual was not consciously aware, and Abraham Maslow developed a hierarchy of needs. In this idea, we see how certain needs are important for an individual to achieve complete development. In other words, behind every action that we have, behind everything, there's always motivation. In the morning when we wake up and we're hungry, we're motivated to eat because of that hunger that we're feeling. Same at night, if we're sleepy, we're motivated to go to bed because of the fact that we're sleepy. Same with relationships with family and friends. If you're wanting to have good relationships with your family or friends, you're motivated by it too. Biological and psychological motivation can be difficult for people with learning disabilities. For people with learning disabilities such as ADHD or ADD, learning is a gamble. If there isn't someone on their life to motivate them, it can be very difficult for them to feel a sense of motivation. A study conducted by Jonathan Cohen at Columbia University, 800 adolescents with learning problems were asked to identify the most troubling and frustrating aspect of their learning disability. The majority of the students cited performance inconsistencies. One respondent said that the problem seems to come and go, and they never know from one day to the next how they will perform in school. So based on that study, we can see why motivation may be, very difficult for them. However, if they have, it's difficult for them, but if they have somebody in their life to really push them and guide them through it, their motivation levels are going to go up. This frustration is heightened by the fact that adults view this as a motivational problem rather than a neurological problem. Thank you.